One Mercedes, two Mercedes. Bought a new project. 85 300 TD. Got the same OM617 turbo diesel that my 300D has. I've been looking for a 300 TD for over 6 years. Seriously, I say off and on. I mean, I was looking for one and I ran across this 300D for $400 and bought it and fixed it up, and mechanically now it's in great shape. I've done interior's in good shape except for the headliner, but it's kind of where the point where it needs body work, and I kept going back and forth on if I wanted to do body work and paint on it. You know, it's a lot of time and money, and it finally came down to, you know, I really would prefer, I even considered, buying a better body, because this one's got quite a bit of rust. Floor's got a lot of rust. It's a great driver, but you know, it at some point in its life it did have leaks, and it sat in the floor, and you know, I think the driver's side floor is good, but the driver's side back floor's got a hole in it, and then front and back and the passenger side, if I remember right, have holes. I mean, they're not difficult fixes, but you know, it's there. It needs to be fixed. And body wise, rust, it's not bad. It's got just a few spots. So southern car, it's got rust. Northern car, it's practically rust free. Let's put it that way. But every panel on it is dented. You know, it's gonna need a lot of body work or a set of doors. You know, my thought was, you know, trying to maybe find another car that needed an engine or something like that, and do some swapping around and swap all my stuff from this car into the other car. And more I thought about that, and more I thought about the body work, more I thought of all that stuff, and the fact that I really wanted a wagon, I just decided that, you know, I'd bite the bullet and go ahead and buy a wagon. Like I said, I've been looking for one even as I had this one. I was looking for a wagon, just, you know, seeing what was out there. They're hard to find, and the value of them keeps going up. And I should have bought one 6 years ago, because the value's gone up since then, but didn't. And of course, the value you can't find these for $400, or at least running, driving, at least where I am. So I got a good deal on this one, and bought this one. Not as good of a deal on this one, but I paid a fair price for it. I did pay up for it, but wagon value wise, I think it was right where it should be, and it's solid. The paint is cooked on it. You know, it's sat in the Texas sun. Clear coat is failing, just like this one did. Pretty much all these at this point, if they have a metallic paint job on them, the clear coat's coming off of them. The, you know, non-metallic cars didn't get the clear coat, so you know, they normally look better, but the metallic ones, they're all peeling at this point in life. So like I said, it's got lots of paint imperfections, clear coats coming off. It's got the paint on the hood is shot. It's got a couple little rust spots with some, I guess, darker touch up. I don't know what's going on there, but the paint color itself is lighter than that. It's had touch up paint put on it, a couple scratches and stuff, and it's a darker color. But it had one rust spot right there where it was bubbled up right behind this park lamp. And so I sanded it, got it, you know, and then wire brushed the rust out, treated the rust several times with some navel jelly, Got it all cleared back down to bare metal, or cleaned back down to bare metal. And then I just hit it with some red oxide primer, you know, heavy rust primer, Rust-Oleum, to protect it. We're gonna monitor it, make sure it doesn't try to come back. And once we're sure on that, we'll put some probably glass Bondo, you know, stuff's got the fiberglass strands. It doesn't absorb water like normal Bondo. I like that stuff because, you know, it's less likely to cause rust. We'll hit it with some of that. It did not go through, you know, we're still solid here, and so it shouldn't be able to get it from the back side or anything. And then we'll put some touch-up paint on it until we paint it. Eventually I'll probably put a paint job on this thing, but for right now it's going to be preserving the body. So, you know, making sure no rust spots pop up. It's got a couple little spots. I showed you the others, but just some spots like that we'll probably just hit it with some rust killer, and then try to maybe brush on a little bit of matte clear coat or something like that, just to kind of not put a shine to it, not, you know, change the look of it, but it'll just make it not rust. It's got, you know, got to glue down some of those strips. Overall, it's in good shape. Had a broken tail light when I bought it. I had to replace that. Also had it was low on power steering fluid and low on brake fluid, and the brakes on it were awful. So I've put a new master cylinder on it. I had to do all that stuff quickly, the tail light and the master cylinder, just because I needed to get this to register it. I have to get it inspected, and so I had to go get it inspected, and they do a safety check on it, so it would have failed on the brakes and the tail light. Interior wise, it's dirty, it needs cleaning. I have not done any cleanup on it. The seat springs are shot. I took it out and put some pool noodles in it, just because, I mean, you sat down and you're practically sitting on the floor in this thing. So until I can find a seat bottom, put the pool noodles in it, which is what I did on my other car. You know, you don't have the springy, cushiony ride, but at least you're not sitting on the floor. Passenger seat's not as bad. This has got the it's like a cream beige leather. It's not MB Tex. Rear as well. To be honest, this is the first W123 I've seen with leather. Somebody swapped MB Tex Palomino armrest on it, so we'll try to find a correct armrest for it, and then I'm going to try to find a seat bottom for it. The back is okay for now. Like I said, it needs cleaning. It's stained. Same thing with the carpet. It's a very light color, so it shows everything, but I think I can get it mostly cleaned up. I've got a good carpet cleaner, and I think it'll get most of the stains out. It's missing this piece of wood. Well, I say it's missing. I have it. It's in the car, but I need to glue it back on. The headliner is in good shape. Sunroof works. Got the manual sunroof, like I think all the 300 TDs were manual sunroof. Like I said, good headliner, except for there's one little spot in that back driver's side corner. The rear panel, the D-pillar trim is shot, so I gotta try to find some of that. If you know of anywhere I can get some of that, let me know. And then that overhead trim thing it's decent, but over on that corner over there, the speaker grill portion of it is kind of messed up. But those D-pillar trims are kind of shot, and they look bad. So I want to replace those fairly quickly. This thing is just baked in the sun. You know, baked the paint, baked the interior. But, you know, like, that's a nice door panel. It's got the wrong armrest on it. The driver's side one, other than, you know, sticking your arm out the window, it's held up pretty well. The pockets are kind of shot on them, both sides. Rear panels are good. 3 out of 4 windows work. I'm scared. That one started to go down. It didn't sound that healthy, and I decided I was not that. It wasn't that important for me to roll it down. But this one doesn't do anything. So it doesn't even try to do anything. Probably not going to touch the rear windows, and I'll probably just find some 300 ST regulators and swap them in. They're staying up now. That's the main thing. I fought with my other one with them falling down and ended up just propping them up until I could find some regulators. So they're propped. These still have the regulators in them. They're not falling, so I think we're going to leave them alone. Front worked great. Roll up and down fast. Like I said, it's got stains on it. I've not done any cleaning, but it's all here, and that's the main thing. And these trim pieces here, which go into the C-pillar, I think mostly it's I don't know if it's a wrap or what, or if it's actually a panel, but I think it's a wrap. You know, they're not in the best shape either. So probably try to re-wrap those at some point. I think those are a wrap, but you can see these. It's a foam-backed panel, and they just, you know, that foam shrinks and contorts and does all kinds of stuff. Spare tire cover. It's got a matching spare tire to the tires on it. Look really good. They're about 6 years old, but they've got real good tread on them. Like I said, lots of staining. We're gonna go through and clean all of it. It's got tons of cargo space. I took this off. It had a battery drain issue, and it's got I'm not gonna say a factory alarm. It may be a dealer installed alarm, but it's a Bosch alarm on it. And as I took this panel off, the drain stopped. So I guess I disturbed something under the dash, which what I was trying to get to was the alarm, and so I unplugged one of the alarm boxes. It's a relay box, and so far it seems to be fixed. So I think that was the issue. And the alarm was probably trying to go off, is my guess. You know, maybe the horn doesn't work for the alarm, but you know, it was trying to do it, and the horn was drawing amperage, maybe something like that is kind of what I'm thinking. This back panel here is kind of shot, so again, it needs some interior panels, but it's a good solid car, and that's what I was looking for. It needs an antenna. I actually have it. He said it came out, and so I have the antenna, but I think it needs a new one. I'll try to feed it back in and see if it'll, but I think it's probably broken. I haven't really looked at it. This is part of that alarm. I don't have the key for it, so that was the other reason for disconnecting it. The wood pieces, like I said, this one's missing, or not missing, but it's off. I have it, but the rest of the wood pieces look good. The dash is cracked, but look at the AC panel. It looks really good. It's got a crack right here, but other than that, it's in good shape, and this panel's in good shape, and this one of course is cracked, like pretty much all of them. It's got this aftermarket radio. I'd pulled it out thinking that was the source of the drain, and it wasn't even hooked up. I don't know why it's there. It's plugging a hole at this point, I guess. So I guess we'll see if that thing works. I don't know. I don't really like it, so I'm not a fan of Boss. It's one of the ones with the screen that pops up too, so it's going to block the AC controls. I'll probably put something else in it. So yeah, 235,000 miles, but I'm not sure if that's, well, the odometer doesn't work, so we know it's more than that. He thought it was like 350,000. I don't know. Really don't think it's that much. Judging by the, it's got a discount tire thing in there, where these tires were bought, and these tires were bought prior to the guy that I bought it from, and it's got like 1,500 miles less than what's on it, and I don't know if discount messed up or maybe the odometer's intermittent. I don't know. These tires, I would say, have less than 20,000 miles on them, so don't really know the mileage, but it runs great. It sounds healthier. I mean, my car sounds healthy. This one sounds even healthier, right? The glow plugs aren't quite working right. I think it's got some dead glow plugs, it just turns on for a second. So you can turn the key on and crank this thing right up and it fires right up. No glow plugs. So that's really good. And mine, you know, it would take some cranking. It will start without glow plugs, but it takes some cranking to get it there. So this one cranks right up. Really, really healthy engine. And it seems peppier than my other one. And I haven't touched anything. I don't know what the boost is on this. No, it's not over boosting because it's got a the boost protection circuit and all that stuff is still hooked up. So I know it's not getting more boost than mine. Mine's set right at 13 psi. And that's what the overload circuit on these is set to, I think, is 13 psi. So technically mine will run at 13 psi. I've got the overload or the bypass circuit or whatever that is, over boost protection thing, unhooked because it was leaking. And this one, you know, all that's still hooked up. So we don't know if it's getting any boost, if it is, what it is. Mechanically, it seems in good shape. The SLS system is not working, and you know, it probably just needs some attention. They're not that complicated. We'll end up probably doing a video series on going through all that, but it's all here. It's all factory except for whatever that mess of vacuum lines is. I don't know what's going on there. So I don't know why there's a fuel filter in the vacuum line setup. No idea there. So we're gonna need to go through the whole vacuum system on this. It's got an intermittent shift flare, which is most likely probably, you know, a vacuum issue. I don't think there's an internal transmission issue. So we're gonna have to deal with that. Like I said, it was low on brake fluid. I replaced it was leaking into the booster, so I put a new master cylinder on. It's got great brakes now. It has a receipt for rear brakes after the tires were put on, so less than like 20,000 miles on the rear brakes. It's got power steering leaks somewhere. It was low on power steering fluid, but I haven't found any leaks yet, so I don't know on that, and we'll just monitor it. It's definitely got miscellaneous leaks. It's pretty oily underneath. What else? Valve cover gaskets are shot and leaking. I'm hoping that's the majority of our oil leak. I mean, they are really grungy, so it's definitely been a while since this thing had a valve adjustment. So we're gonna go through, that's probably the first thing I'm gonna do on this thing, is do a valve adjustment and get all that corrected. So we have to do that and put a valve cover gasket on it. Did the oil cap dance test, and you know, it wasn't popping around. It definitely doesn't have any blow by. So yeah, we're gonna do that. We'll have to do SLS system on it, valve adjustment and all that. I'm not gonna show the valve adjustment. I already got a video for that, so I'll probably try to run through that quickly. I want to do that and, you know, check the transmission vacuum system quickly so I can drive it more. I don't want to drive it too much without doing all that stuff. So turbo drain tube, all that looks dry from what I can tell, so I don't think we've got any oil leaks there. I don't know what kind of shape the turbo's in. We'll have to see if it's got any play in it, but this is it. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. I think it's a good car to have. I think it's a good investment. I think these things will keep going up in value, wagons especially. I've been watching them over the last 6 years and they've definitely gone up. So should have bought one 6 years ago, but I didn't. But I feel like I got one now that, you know, they'll continue to go up and have a good investment here and a good driver. So it will be mostly my daily driver once I get all the issues sorted out. Anyway, thanks for watching. Leave a comment down below. Hit the like button and subscribe for more. Lots more videos on this thing to come.